In the top stories, plans underway to step up safety and security measures this year. Honorable Ian Librard emphasizes the importance of good governance, and Rotary Club officials call on Prime Minister Harris. The details on these stories and more after the break. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Carla Berridge. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris says in 2017 the government will launch a more aggressive campaign to reduce crime and violence in St. Kitts and Nevis. During his monthly press conference on Wednesday, the Prime Minister said police will be stepping up their routine security measures across the nation.
Our citizens will witness expanded stop and searches in known hotspots in Bastia, in Cayon, in Sandy Point, in Shadwell, in St. Paul's, etc. The vehicle checkpoints will continue. We understand that from time to time they may create some inconvenience. But for the majority of people, this is a small price to pay to save lives and abort and disrupt criminals and their plans.
He also gave an update on the closed-circuit TV project.
Equipment and appliances have already been brought in an island, and a further shipment is in progress. I'm happy to report that already training has begun for officers of the police and other personnel who will be engaged in the launch of our CCTV project.
The Prime Minister said this year the government shall add close to 100 additional persons to the security agencies. 30 persons will be recruited by the Defence Force and basic training will start in March. He expects that another 50 will be recruited into the police force. Parliamentary Representative for Constituency Number 1, Honorable Ian Librard, has voiced his support of measures to ensure there is no corruption within the government system. During Wednesday's town hall meeting in Cayon, Minister Librard said good governance is a top priority and there must be systems in place to ensure accountability.
And I support the enactment of legislation to mandate, to make it a must for good governance and to deter corruption. But there should be government-funded systems in place to compel disclosure, to investigate instances of abuse, to hold those responsible to account.
He said the importance of good governance extends beyond the public sector as well.
This should also extend, I submit, to cases in the private sector as well, when virtual complaints are made in instances of abuse, when actions are criminal in nature. We must also look at the private sector. Good governance is equitable and inclusive, is effective and efficient.
Parliamentary Representative for Constituency Number 1, Honorable Ian Librard. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris was updated on the work of the Rotary Club of La Amiga and the Rotary Club of St. Kitts during a courtesy call made by the Executive Club members on Thursday. The meeting, held at the Prime Minister's office at Government Headquarters, was attended by President of the Rotary Club of La Amiga, Carol Phillips, President of the Rotary Club of St. Kitts, Neil Owen, Assistant Governor with responsibility for St. Kitts and Nevis, Tufida Stewart, Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Osbert D'Souza, and Governor of District 7030, Roger Bose. Thursday's meeting was one of the activities on the schedule of Mr. Bose, who is on an official visit to St. Kitts and Nevis. Mr. Owens told Prime Minister Harris that the Rotary Club of St. Kitts recently held its hearing mission, where they were able to donate about 150 hearing aids to the Ministry of Health and trained over 50 nurses on how to diagnose and treat persons with various hearing problems. According to President Phillips, the Rotary Club of La Amiga continues to place much emphasis on health and education. She also made mention of a project to establish a seniors' home in St. Kitts. Prime Minister Harris congratulated both clubs on the work they have been doing in the Federation and encouraged them to continue to carry out their people-oriented projects and programs. The Rotary Club of Lamiga's Foot Care Clinic wrapped up its week-long foot care services on Friday. Cheryl Flanders tells us more.
Held at the Old Boys School under the leadership of founder of the North American School of Podology, Dr. Catherine Von Gavel, the Rotary Club of Amiga has officially wrapped up its free foot care clinic. ZIZ visited the foot clinic and spoke with Dr. Von Gavel, who said that the local response has surpassed her expectations.
We are so excited to have such a tremendous turnout. I think, as Roger said, we will probably be seeing close to 1,000 people. It has totally met our expectations. It's more than met our expectations. We have such wonderful people here, and we've been able to help people that in some cases hadn't ever been able to cut their toenails for years and don't want to ask anybody. So they come to us with years of growth, and we're able to give them their feet back and make them look like they have new feet.
After paying a courtesy call to Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, Rotary District Governor for District 7030, Roger Buzz, visited the clinic and said he believes the services would be most beneficial for families.
I believe that the figures that have been told to me previously were that several hundred people and perhaps even as many as 1,000 people may eventually pass through here. So for people to get an opportunity to have their feet looked after or get some advice, perhaps if they have a problem, especially knowing how important it is from the aspect of, I know there are many cases of foot problems when it comes to people who suffer from diabetes, for example. So I would imagine that the advice and the treatment that they get here will be good for them and for them to pass on to their families.
ZIZ spoke with one of the clients, 80-year-old Josephine Onu, who expressed how she felt after receiving care for her feet.
I feel happy, and I feel that I have new feet.
Nurses from the Community Health Services of the Ministry of Health were also on hand to provide health checks on blood sugar and blood pressure levels. The 5-day hands-on clinic was organized to help Kittitians and Nivisians with skin and nail-related foot problems that include extreme rough and dry skin, painful cracked heels, and severely thickened toenails. The foot clinic opened on Monday, January 30th, and provided its final treatment services at midday on Friday, February 3rd.
And well, now that the foot clinic, the 5-day foot clinic has wrapped up, it's back to work, back to North America. And well, I guess we'll have to wait until 2019 when they return and they serve the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis once more and give everyone new feet.
Thank you all so much. We can't wait to come back and see you again.
It's been a pleasure having you, Dr. Catherine Von Gavel.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful.
Reporting from the Old Boys School, I am Shaira Flanders for ZIZ News.
After the break, Ministry of Culture working with UNESCO to preserve national culture, and the early launch of Music Festival expected to benefit the nation. We'll tell you more when we come back. The promotion, preservation and sustenance of the culture of St. Kitts and Nevis is a top priority for the Ministry of Culture as it continues to work with UNESCO. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Culture, Honorable Sean Richards, says to this end the government signed 2 conventions in 2016.
Last year, we signed 2 conventions for UNESCO. One to do with tangible cultural heritage, the other to do with intangible cultural heritage. Because there are some things we can touch, there are some things we can feel, but there are aspects of our culture, there are aspects of our heritage that you can't quite put your finger on. You can't touch it.
He spoke of the importance of recognizing the tangible and intangible aspects of our culture.
And so we signed on to those 2 different conventions because we believe it is important for us to protect, promote and sustain, whether it is the Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park, which is of course tangible. You can touch it, you can see it, but the way we dance, the way we think, the way we speak, these things more on the intangible side of our heritage, our culture.
Minister Richards officially launched the 11th annual History and Heritage Month of activities on Thursday, which is being held under the theme Statehood, a Milestone to Freedom. As plans for the 21st annual St. Kitts Music Festival shift into high gear, officials have stated that this year's early launch has placed the St. Kitts Tourism Authority in a better position to market the music festival internationally. During the launch of the first wave of artists on Wednesday, Minister of Tourism Honorable Lindsay Grant said with such an early release, it is anticipated that the number of visitors will increase.
By launching in February, we can take advantage of our 90-day minimum booking window to promote St. Kitts via the music festival. This will facilitate in increasing the number of visitors who will come to the island because of their love for music, their desire to engage with our friendly people, and our laid-back lifestyle.
Minister Grant also explained the importance of artist selection and the overall value of the festival.
To ensure that we utilize the St. Kitts Music Festival as an added-on value to a June vacation in St. Kitts, careful consideration must be given to the selection of artists we book for the festival. We must book artists that will attract discerning visitors to the island, and by that I mean visitors who are seeking fulfilling and lifetime experiences. The more experienced and discerning traveler will venture out beyond their hotels because they want to feel, they want to live, and they want to eat as our nationals do.
On Wednesday, the committee revealed the first set of artists for the festival: Jacure, Mavado, Shabba Ranks, and the Goo Goo Dolls. The Bastia High School won the inaugural National Junior Science Quiz in a final round of competition on Monday. The competition was hosted by the Curriculum Development Unit to raise awareness of science among the youths. During January, high schools within the Federation battled within elimination rounds, and Bastia High School, Fairchilds, Keon, and Charlestown Secondary Schools managed to secure spots in the finals. First runner-up for the quiz was the Charlestown Secondary School. The participants received tokens of appreciation and participation medals. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, William Hodge, distributed the prizes for the winner and the other participants. Coming up, Guyana Bank employees take issue with sudden clamping of their vehicles. The details when we come back.
Need a new stove, fridge, bed, or TV? Short on cash? Come to Courts and let's get it done. Trade in your old items for 15% off the purchase of a new one and get what you need now with Courts Ready Finance. So let's get it done. Only at Courts, bringing value home.
Irritated employees of Bank of Guyana protested the clamping of their vehicles after they say no parking meters were placed at that location. HTP's Ayana George reports.
In the hot midday sun on Thursday, several employees of the Bank of Guyana were interrupted from their work after ranks of the City Constabulary performing duties under the auspices of Smart City Solutions clamped two vehicles belonging to staff of the bank. No parking meters are placed in the vicinity of the Bank of Guyana, and victims of the clamping were visibly peeved. Here's one of them.
Now these are bank staff vehicles you see parked here. Yeah. Right? Now these are the direct. This is a director car. That is a director car. That is a director car. That white vehicle there is the bank's vehicle. It's not working. Yes. And every morning we have to come to work because of the parking meter system, and we jostle for a space. So you come here in the morning. I would come here in the mornings and park here. This is the results. Now, I'm not affecting the parking meter system. Look at it. I'm not affecting the parking meter system, but they put a lock on my car. I don't know what's going on.
That's Clement Stanford, who added he was in his office when he was told that he should remove his vehicle because ranks of the Smart City Solution were clamping vehicles.
Maybe the parking meter system is not making money, so they got to make another alternative to make money to pay their staff. I don't know. When I talked to the guy, he said, Mr. Lowe, look, this is where my car is positioned. He didn't say anything. He said, you get an answer ready. It sounds like he's not a guy and he's national, right? But he didn't answer me. I said, I'm not affecting the traffic. I'm not doing. This is the ambits of the bank and whatever. He's not listening. Nobody's listening to you.
Reportedly, efforts were made to discuss the matter, but this was not successful. Here is another employee.
I park my vehicle outside the bank here. They don't have no parking meter here. And Nascimento and a white man come and said they're going to clamp the vehicle. I said, but they don't have no, why are you concerned? If this is a double parking, that's the claiming, this is a police matter because they don't have no marking and they don't have no meter here. So I feel that we had a right to park here. Because there are other people who, look at the other vehicles who come and park there now. Why they don't clamp them? Why they don't clamp them? They just come for clamp bank staff vehicle.
For HGP Nightly News, Ayana George.
In St. Lucia, the first hearing for the infamous nude blackmail scandal involving Government Minister Dr. Ubaldus Raymond and the 18-year-old Kershabi Alexander convened at the 1st District Court in Gross Islet on Thursday, February 2nd. Although the accused and her defense team declined comment, special interest group Raise Your Voice has been speaking up on her behalf, calling for the minister's resignation. Hesmar.
There was no time for internet memes or satirical songs and spoofs at the 1st District Court in Grosley on February 2nd, where 18-year-old Kershabi Alexander charged with blackmail against Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ubaldus Raymond, in the much-talked-about leaked nudes scandal. Magistrate Michelle Louis presided over the first hearing. Kershabi, supported by a relative, remained reclusive, avoiding cameras. Attorney Sean Innocent is part of Kershabi's legal defense team. He too offered no insight on proceedings.
No comments.
Was this case management?
No comments. No comments.
Why the sensitivity?
No comments.
I mean, it's a case where someone 18 who needs assistance. Okay, are you
So what you can tell us about the case this morning?
What's up?
What can you tell us about this morning? What took place
No comment.
this morning?
Nothing at all?
No comment.
What about the situation with the minister?
No comment.
Nothing at all. What's the next step? At least what's the next step in the matter?
No comment.
Kershabi Alexander was formally charged on January 13th. She is accused of attempting to extort money from Finance Minister Raymond using nude photographs. The images, which have since gone viral on social media, purports to be of the finance minister. However, Dr. Raymond has not authenticated the claim. The special interest group, Raise Your Voice, known to advocate for gender equality, did break the silence at 1st District Grosley. Catherine Seeley is the General Secretary.
Support for women, but this individual has been charged with a crime.
Yeah, she's a woman, so we support her, we stand with her. While we may not have any bearing on what the court decides, we still stand with her as a woman because we think this reflects the inequality in our society, the way we treat our women, the disrespect, the thing we can do anything and say what we want. No, we stand with all women.
Meanwhile, Kershabi and her accompanying relative attempted to evade news cameras after proceedings. Speaking at a January 13th no questions press briefing, Dr. Ubaldus Raymond made it clear that he, quote, will not be bullied. Despite calls for Dr. Raymond to be relieved of duty, Prime Minister Alan Chasney has adopted the wait-and-see approach before deciding on the fate of his hand-picked minister. Case management in the leaked nudes blackmail scandal is set for April 7th. Rihani Isidore.
Coming up, Yemenis in New York closed their businesses in protest of the president's travel ban. The details when we come back. To protest against a new U.S. travel measure that bans visitors from 7 Muslim-majority countries, Yemenis in New York closed their small grocery shops, known as bodegas, as a reminder that the block could impact business. Around 1,000 shops participated in the protest. Yemen is among the banned countries singled out by U.S. President Trump in his executive order. Al Jazeera's Mika Hanna reports from New York.
Hundreds gather in protest on the steps of the Brooklyn Borough Hall The bulk of the crowd are Yemenis, but fluttering alongside the stars and stripes are flags from other countries singled out in Trump's travel ban. And those organizing the protest insist that ultimately it's the society as a whole that suffers. More than 1,000 convenience stores in the city are owned by Yemenis, and when the neighborhood shops began to shut down earlier in the day, it was a reminder to residents of the city's reliance on migrants. A reminder too that the threat posed by the Trump ban could impact on a way of life, not just a specific religious group.
Muslims, Christians, Jewish, this is the country for all religions, all races, everybody.
How do you feel that a lot of New Yorkers have been coming out in protest? It's not just a Yemeni or Muslim thing.
People are fighting for what's right. What's happening right now is not right, okay? This is the land of immigrants.
In recent days, there's been demonstrations by cab drivers and students. City workers are holding daily lunchtime protests. And the New York Board of Education has sent a letter to all parents saying that every child has the right of access to public school, regardless of immigration status. On this day, it's Yemenis who are leading the opposition, but this is part of a wider reaction. And the protesters pause for prayer, firm in the conviction that they are part of a rolling wave of swelling anger that may ebb and flow, but will continue to batter on Trump's shore. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera, Brooklyn.
More than 100,000 children have returned to school in Mosul. The Iraqi city and nearby towns were under ISIL control for more than 2 years, and it's a massive challenge for the government to get the education system back to normal. Al Jazeera's Osama bin Javed reports from Mosul.
Children have a variety of things on their minds as they walk to school, including homework and lunch. But in Mosul it's different. They have to think of the unexploded munitions and toxic fumes. Schools have reopened in Al Ausaj village south of Mosul after 2.5 years of ISIL's rule.
ISIL used to give us books showing grenades, weapons and bombs. We didn't like these books. Now we are happy because there are new ones.
Broken desks, unpaved floors and no running water shows that much work still needs to be done. And it's hard for children to concentrate on studies when the weather is so cold.
The school needs a lot of renovation. That includes new paint, windows, lights and a kerosene heater.
Teachers are also in short supply. Not enough members of staff have returned after ISIL was overthrown.
I'm teaching here voluntarily. We have more than 450 children at this school, but only 3 teachers.
In addition to the educational support, teachers and students will need psychological help to overcome the trauma of conflict.
Every child in Mosul has been through some sort of stress. For most children, resuming a structured way of life is the most important. Going to school every morning, being able to meet their friends, being able to learn, be distracted by the woes of the past and think about the future. That is the most important.
For the tens of thousands of students returning to 70 schools in eastern Mosul, it will take time to catch up with the years they have missed.
We've lost more than 2.5 years of school, and our friends who left Mosul are now in college or at least have finished high school.
Mosul's majority Sunni population was unhappy with the mostly Shia security forces when ISIL took over. Now many people see education as an opportunity for the government to bridge the sectarian gap. These families are returning to the eastern parts of Mosul. It was a sense of alienation which enabled ISIL to take large parts of Iraqi territory. And one of the biggest challenges for schools reopening in Mosul would be to reintegrate boys and girls into a divided society. Osama bin Javed, Al Jazeera, on the outskirts of Mosul.
Up next in sports, Marathon Group returns to St. Kitts and Magic Johnson return to the LA Lakers. Stay tuned.
Need a new stove, fridge, bed or TV? Short on cash? Come to Quartz and let's get it done. Trade in your old items for 15% off the purchase of a new one and get what you need now with Quartz Ready Finance. So let's get it done. Only at Quartz, bringing value home.
On Friday, the Z Adventure Marathon group returned to St. Kitts for the second time to participate in a marathon in the Frigate Bay area. The Z Adventure Marathon was the brainchild of Zayed Rahim of Pakistan, who holds 10 Guinness World Records in long-distance running. He explained what Z Adventure does and what the marathon entails.
Z Adventures is an adventure travel company, and we organize bespoke running adventures around the world. We try and organize events that have never been done before, and the Southern Caribbean Challenge is one of the events that we're doing. It's basically going on a cruise ship for 1 week, going to all the islands and running marathons in all those countries. So effectively we're running 7 marathons in 6 countries and 1 on the cruise ship.
Rahim also thanked the Ministry of Tourism for its assistance in making the event possible for the second year.
We had a great experience last year. All our people, in fact, we had, if you remember, we had about 15 world record holders who came. You know, the oldest competitor was 78, the youngest was 8. So, and you know, the coverage that we received in the country, it was posted all over the social network, and that's one of the reasons why people signed up again. I must say, I would like to thank the Ministry of Tourism, because they've taken care of us, you know, in the best possible way. All I had to do was just to send one email out, and they said, yes, you come over and we'll organize the event for you. And it's tremendous. It just makes my life so much easier.
The 20 runners, who are from 10 countries including Dubai, Nigeria, Germany, Hungary and the UK, came aboard the Carnival Fascination cruise ship. Leading up to the run at Frigate Bay on Friday, the runners completed 6 marathons in 6 different countries. The Los Angeles Lakers announced Thursday that Hall of Fame point guard and Lakers legend Magic Johnson will return to the organization to assist team executive Jeannie Buss in all areas of basketball as an advisor. Here's more.
Earvin Magic Johnson is returning to the LA Lakers after being one of the team's most celebrated players. The team announced on Thursday that Johnson will be joining the board in an advisory position. Johnson's duties will include advising ownership on all business and basketball matters, collaborating with coaches, evaluating and mentoring players, assessing future franchise needs, and helping ownership to determine the best path for growth and success.
Children at a hospital in Houston were pleasantly surprised when Pittsburgh Steelers star Antonio Brown visited them ahead of Super Bowl 51.
Pittsburgh Steelers receiver Antonio Brown is starting his offseason by giving back. While in Houston for the Super Bowl 50 festivities, the 28-year-old NFL Pro Bowler took time out to visit the kids at Texas Children's Hospital. Brown arrived at the hospital and handed out a bunch of footballs and jerseys where no child was left empty-handed. Brown said to the kids, "We're excited to be here. This sounds like a great way for one of the NFL's great receivers to spend his offseason."
When we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines. Recapping the top stories. Plans underway to step up safety and security measures this year. Honorable Ian Liburd emphasizes the importance of good governance. And Rotary Club officials call on Prime Minister Harris. And that's the end of the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Berridge. Goodbye.